Hello and welcome to the D3 podcast. This is your host Matt, joined as always by Kevin and newly coming back, Sam from the depths of Utah Jazz hell. How's it going, my guy?
Hey, first off, fuck you, Utah Jazz. It's clear that you guys are potentially racist, based off our viewers, from that previous Jokic video, and then, me not being there, clearly was the indicator that you guys are going to lose this round. There you go. Curse is on. You guys will. The Memphis Grizzlies will win this series.
I mean, the fact of the matter is they left Donovan a healthy Donovan Mitchell out the first round, so I feel like the writings in the sand right there.
Exactly, and I think Kevin, we talked yesterday at the Nuggets game. Just wanted to show off to everyone that yes, we are now, half season ticket holders. Exactly, we got them balcony seats. There we go. We got the Nuggets gang over here. It's funny. Kevin wanted to wear his Lakers sweatshirt at Nuggets game. I was like, that's a horrendous idea, Kevin. You should not do that. Remember last year, Game 7? Exactly. But we were discussing, and I still stand that Donovan Mitchell is still not top 10 under 25. I really don't think he is. And I think he's been very constant.
You
What was it? Go ahead.
you don't think he's top 25 even?
No, he's top 25. He's not top 10.
Oh, okay.
Under 25.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
we're not that insane, boys. We're not that crazy.
I would just like to say that this man was talking about having shrooms in a Nuggets arena, so
Yeah,
I might be a little crazy. Okay, we might be a little
yeah.
crazy.
It's legal. It's fine. Get your shrooms here. Shrooms.
I like how your impression of that is like an old-timey guy, like from the 30s, like, dealing out shrooms.
And demonetized.
Hey, anyway, going on to the NBA updates. Not really NBA for this first one though. Is J. Cole actually a baller, Sam?
Not really.
That's fine.
Man's got his own. He had two shoes with Puma before any actual NBA player. So respect. I don't know how this Puma works. Pretty sure. Just saying, Puma back in the day were very pro-Nazi. Just saying. So I don't fuck with them. That's just me. I don't fuck with them. J. Cole. Quick side note: everyone's like, "Yo, J. Cole album." Every time J. Cole releases an album, they're like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing of all time." I'm like, "Bitch, please stop it." Stop it. It's not that great. It's really like I even put Travis Scott above that, and I don't really like Travis Scott. Like I'm just saying. J. Cole had the one hit, he played at All-Star game, and then that was kind of it. But J. Cole as a baller, day one, he had 3 points, like 2 assists, 1 rebound. Like he doesn't play basketball professionally. He's playing in Rwanda, with I believe like in a South African league. Really cool that he's doing that. I think it's kind of cool going back to his roots, and then the guy did play D1 basketball, so he's not like his skill set is like to trash on, but I don't know if it's like a publicity stunt. I don't know if it's like he's actually for real with this. I just found it weird that it was like in the smallest country of Africa. That's why I just found it like very awkward. Like literally no one would take you besides the one country that literally just needs more people at that point. So J. Cole, I hope you have a great future in Rwanda. But stick to the rap game and barely stick to the rap game. Just stop it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's whatever. GM Bob Myers confident on re-signing Steph Curry. Kevin, I feel like this is a very clear yes because, Steph Curry has a bit of a thing for Golden State. He's never hated against it per se. Are we confident that he's going to sign with Golden State again?
I don't know. I feel like the management there has just made a lot of bad decisions over time, and I think Steph has done all he can this year, especially. He has done all he can to bring that team to the playoffs, and he can't do it by himself. And Clay gets injured every year, unfortunately. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's sick of that management and that organization. As much as they've been great to him, I think Steph wants to win again. Like at the end of the day, that's what's important, and he's not winning on the on the current Warriors. So
No, not currently, but I feel like Steph is one of the last most loyal players to their team. Like you got Dame, you got CJ McCollum, and then you have Steph and Clay. And I don't know if Steph wants to leave Clay. They're best buddies.
I mean, like, I feel like it's not hard to be loyal when you win 3 titles, though. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like I think Dame is actually loyal because, like, I think we all know that he won't win a title, which is kind of sad. Like, if he stays in Portland, I think we all like that team, and we'll discuss the Portland situation later. But clearly, they've been running it back for like 8 years, and it's been the same result. I mean, they get slightly better, but the problem is you meet in the Eastern Conference, the Raptors always met LeBron. In the Western Conference, you meet LeBron again, and it's like another issue at this point. But it would be really shocking if Steph Curry left. But I definitely see the point where if I wouldn't say he joins like a LeBron, but I wouldn't be surprised if he joins like someone that's more fun. Like I think the young guys are cool. I don't think they're good at all in this roster. Like Jordan Poole, like who fucks with Jordan Poole? I don't. Like I'm not gonna play with Jordan Poole. My boy Juan Toscano Anderson, like he has effort. Like that's cool. Draymond, pretty washed. Still got that backpack shot, like scrunched in like this when he shoots.
Yikes.
Um, but 2 words that could have solved this issue. LaMelo Ball. Okay, that could have been the whole savior for the situation. James Wiseman. I'm not calling him washed because it's just been like 30 games basically, but it's not. This is not the situation for him, in my opinion. And I just think that James Wiseman needs a real star where he's just the guy in a way, like the guy. Here, I think there's just too much weight. Like you're just like I'm playing with Steph Curry, who needs to win a title basically year after year after year, and I don't think James Wiseman has it because he hasn't played really any basketball since coming to the NBA because he got suspended from Memphis and college and stuff like that. So.
Mm.
I would be surprised if he leaves, but I think there'll be definitely some talks about Steph Curry. He needs the bag, though. He's gonna get the biggest bag possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he probably will, to be honest. Jordan Clarkson named Sixth Man of the Year, Sam. Let's get it. Are we A, not surprised, B, thought that another person should have gotten it? And yeah, that's the only two that I'm gonna go with.
I did find it wholesome that Joe Ingles was the one that told him that he won. Like I think that was pretty cool. Like I mean, just being another guy. Um, who was the other guy? There was someone who was mentioned. People were mentioning Derrick Rose could have been 6 man. I think it was a little bit of a late stint for him, just to split the whole position. But I mean, quick shout out, Derrick Rose playing great basketball again. It's fun watching him, and I think he's enjoying it as well. I know fellow Chicagoans, however you want to say it, they guys love the Rose. You killed the Rose. You love the Rose again. He left. All right, he's gone. You gotta move on. But you gotta love the Rose at least. Mm-hmm. And I'm not surprised. Jordan Clarkson, I mean, only one balling out from the bench, so I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, it's totally fair. Pelicans are not vibing with SVG, Kevin. You think this is a little premature, or is this a long time coming?
I definitely think it's a little premature. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think in general, teams are really quick to blame coaches, especially when they're kind of new and in like transition a little bit. They look at their team and they're like, hey, this team should work. Why is it not? Oh, it must be the coaching. And I don't think it's necessarily that's a valid excuse all the time. Sometimes it is, but I think for this one, like, I feel like he needs to be given more time with this team to really get his chemistry going and stuff like that. Like you see that a lot with some coaches. It takes a year or two for them to really get in their groove. Except for Tom Thibodeau, who can just go to the Knicks and be good because he has his old team, basically. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't love Stan Van Gundy, but I think this is definitely premature on the Pelicans.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Mm-hmm. Boys, NBA, we've already seen rumors of this happening earlier this season and even talks of it last season. Mid-season tournament. finding more ways to just make their players fucking exhausted. Sam, are we for the midseason tournament, against the midseason tournament, or, are we just like, stop doing this to the players, please?
As Kanye West might put it, new slaves.
Yeah,
Um, but
damn.
there's a yeah, I'm the only one that can actually say. I'm just saying, just for the record, like I'm only going to at least get away with it. Um, but I think there's like three different perspectives, right? There's ownership, there's players, and then there's us. I mean, I think as fans, obviously we like basketball. For me, I'm pretty tired just with the back-to-back season. Like I'm pretty exhausted with basketball. Just like it's just been nonstop. Um, just as a fan, I'm tired of it. Like I couldn't imagine being a player and being like, oh shit, I just played like 150 games and then we lose, and then I tear my ACL. And we're seeing it. All these young guys who are going to get the bag or are potentially going to be even better. They have like a ridiculous, injury. And we saw in Zion. Zion like broke his finger. I know it's not crazy detrimental, but I mean, still for like a 19-year-old, just like break his finger just with the wear and tear. I mean, we don't want to see that, right? Zion, we want the longevity of it. Like he is star of the league for the next 20 years. I mean, shout out to our boy. I mean, Jamal Murray. I know we roasted him a bit with the way he started the season, but the way he ended, playing really well, and then fluke injury. I mean, your boy Jaylen Brown. I mean, like literally, we were playing fantasy, and he always has day to day because his knee's been hurting, and then he tears the same knee. I mean, it should be obvious that this guy has to sit out 2 games. There's something wrong, And as a fan, I mean, as an owner, there's just money, right? It's you just want tons of money at this point. It's the recovery period because we lost so much money with COVID, even though you still made billions of dollars regardless. So I personally don't want it because there's no incentive for like a LeBron James, a CP. It's good for young guys. I agree with that. But it has no incentive for any star athlete, in my opinion. Like star bet. I guess like I said, like a LeBron, like an AD, like what do they care? They want chip, They don't care about you get $1 million prize. LeBron's worth $1 billion. Who cares?
Yeah.
To them it's chump change in a way. So I don't want it. I think run a season back to normal and then you can reevaluate. But I think we all agree. I think it should just be less games in general. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would have to agree with the less games in general. I mean, I like the idea of having a mid-season tournament because there's been a huge problem, and I think it has to do with the amount of games that the NBA has, where you get into the months of like February, March, or whatever, where teams are already like, we're definitely going to be in the playoffs, or we're absolutely out. So what's the point? Um, and having a mid-season tournament could like maybe like boost the ratings or make it more entertaining, but like fuck these injuries, man. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. They gotta chill. Kevin, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think especially the exhaustion in the players, I think is the biggest part, and I think we're hearing from players more and more that that's an issue, whether it's exhaustion from travel and not being able to sleep that much, but because there's so many games, and I think just adding a mid-season tournament will add to that. But like Sam said, like if we can kind of go through a regular season and figure out what amount of games we want and what works well for both the players and the organizations, then I think we can come back and assess another mid-season tournament. Like, I don't know.
Absolutely. 100%. I know we talk about like the GOAT a lot. Like there's LeBron James, there's, Patrick Williams, Luka Doncic. I saw Kevin didn't catch that, and I saw Sam caught that. So I almost got you.
9 points, 5 rebounds.
Yeah. But we forget about the GOAT, Jeremy Lin. He's not retiring. Not retiring after a cryptic post. Sam, do you know what this post is?
Yeah, he had like a 3-paragraph like Instagram post. Like it looked like like the like silhouette of like you walking away like a Mamba like style. Yeah. And then it really hinted at him like retiring and like leaving. And then he was like, I was just kidding. Like it was not like about that. It was just like a rough year. And I was like, well, you don't have to go on like a 3-paragraph rant. Like, I mean, Jeremy Lin, we love you, but you haven't been in the NBA. You were in the G League, and there was a whole racist rant about it. And I don't know if Jeremy Lin's going to have a career back in the NBA. I think it's a shame because I think he does have the skill set. But I mean, I think once you go overseas and try to come back, it's really difficult unless you're like a young athlete. And this guy's like 33, 34, so like he's a vet. But let's all talk about our favorite Jeremy Lin moment. We'll start with you, Matt, because of your infatuation with Jeremy Lin.
Oh yeah, it's such a huge infatuation. I really like that one game where he had like an incredible time and it was wonderful. Dude, he like oh, it was the weirdest thing. I remember the one it was like a playoff series that he was in and he was just on fire, killing it. Then he got traded to the Knicks. And I don't remember what team he was on, but I just remembered like it was this really random, small like sample size of Jeremy Lin just doing incredible things, and then all of a sudden nothing else happened. It was the weirdest thing I have ever experienced, but I was on that fucking hype train, man. I was like, yes, this guy is so good, and then next year it was just like, eh.
Yeah, no, straight up. I listened on my iPod Touch. I remember having a background screen of like a Nike Just Do It with a Jeremy Lin like yelling thing, and I was like, yo,
Linsanity, boys.
Linsanity.
You remember Linsanity?
Straight up. I mean, we all remember Toronto Knicks, and Jeremy Lin was like, Mello, nah, you good. Get out of my way. And he just tried to push out everyone and then shoots like a logo three and just drains it. And they're just like, okay, this guy can play. And then, like you said, like all these highlights, had a great time in New York. They didn't want to sign him, so Houston gave him the bag. And then they realized that was like way too much money for, 7 highlights. Like I said, I think he's a great support role. I don't think he's like, all-star. Even potential star, but I think we know that he understood his role wherever he went, and I think he was able to escalate teams at that standpoint. And he had a great career in China. I mean, for the year and a half he played there. So, I mean, I won't be surprised if Jeremy Lin's back, but it's enough about Jeremy Lin. You should have a whole 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think we're done. I think we're done with Jeremy Lin at this point, which is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sam, or not Sam, I'm actually not going to talk to you about this because I know how much of a Hawks fan you are. So you can put in your 2 cents later. Kevin, if you were a Hawks fan, what would you be more excited about? Would you be more excited that Nate McMillan is returning as the Hawks coach next season, or would you be more pumped that the New York City mayor put out a wanted list out for Trae Young? What would you be more excited about?
The New York City mayor putting out a wanted list, that is top tier. That means you made it. Like, as a Hawks player, like getting that much hate from New York, that's awesome. That's what you like dream about. I feel like coming into an opposing team's territory and coming in, beating them game 1 and their home turf, and like with a buzzer beater.
Yeah, that was fun.
Man's killing it. I love it. I mean, no disrespect to McMillan. He's awesome coach this year and perfect for this Hawks team, but that Trae last second shot was incredible. And I love what he did. Like, he was like this with everyone, and because that MSG was like literally silent.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it was pretty disrespectful, I'm not gonna lie. Sam, with the Hawks against your Knicks, this has got to be very polarizing for you. You've got to be like on both sides where it's just like in general you probably don't care who wins, right? Like, but like who are you pulling for right now? I mean, I know you got your Trae Young jersey on, man, but where's that Randall jersey? Look,
it's not even about Randall. I just put on a big blazer. I get my froggy throat voice, and you repping Tom Thibodeau. That's what we're repping here, I'm wearing Trae Young jersey underneath. Get my blazer on. We're just watching the game. We sweating like crazy because I'm like, oh shit, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, they're balling out. But I'm like, Trae Young, my boy Bogey. Like, it's a really tough thing. Honestly, I think it's gonna be the most enjoyable series still. I think it really is, because both are just like new to this whole situation, but they're both relatively high seeds, and they both have a really good chance to even like be competitive in the second round, in my opinion. This is tough, man. Like, it's too many new loves, right? You can't, Chris Brown says that these hoes ain't loyal. I've been repping with the Hawks day 1, but then I jumped ship with Tom Thibodeau. I think I got to jump ship back with Trae Young. The first love. The Atlanta Hawks, they figured it out. Danilo Gallinari rocking the mohawk, that means business at this point. But I think either side should be very excited for the future. I think New York's going to attract a lot of people, and I think the Hawks just have pretty decent talent to be consistently in the playoffs. I'm not saying they are, moving on to the next round every year, but this year it seems very viable.
Very unfortunate that we keep talking about Trae Young and we haven't even mentioned Lou Williams, which bit of a bummer for the guy, not gonna lie. Very, very much of a bummer. What like that's a fucking crash of his career. My God.
But it feels great because we can talk about Trae Young without mentioning the words LD, and getting away with it. So we're good. All right, we're good. We're good. Next topic.
We're good. Speaking of the Knicks, however, and Julius Randle, he won most improved player of the year. Kevin, I think this is pretty well deserved. How about you?
I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone is surprised by this, or six man for that matter. But is this team to a high seeded playoff team? Like that's impressive, and I don't want to say it's all him because there are a lot of people on that Knicks team that are really good, but he is the number one guy on that team, the number one facilitator on that team, and he's just doing a lot of work, and it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we get right into the play-in tournament? We've already spent enough time on these updates. Time to talk about basketball, some real basketball, actually. No more of that Linsanity shit. Boys, Pacers knock out the Hornets in the first game. This is kind of rough, I'm not going to lie, but, I feel like it's kind of well-deserved for the Pacers. I kind of figured that it would have, I really wanted the Hornets to win, but the Pacers are the Pacers.
I think it sucks because the Pacers probably were the better team in that scenario, but then they go on to the next game and get absolutely bodied by the Wizards, like absolutely bodied. And so I feel bad for the Hornets that they got that they lost to a team that also is not in the playoffs now.
Yeah, why don't we talk about the only thing that I'm excited about when it comes to the Celtics, the fact that they destroyed the Wizards for the 7th seed. Yeah, that's about it. I have absolutely no hope in this Celtics Nets series. I'm very, very disgruntled because they're going to get destroyed, and there's just nothing that we can do about it but watch and cry in the corner.
You're wearing all black. You got the funeral colors going already for the Celtics. I mean,
yeah. The Shamrocks are burning, and Boston is on fire, essentially. All thanks to some Brooklyn people. So Celtics did beat the Wizards for the 7th seed. Pacers then get dominated by the Wizards, who clinched the 8th seed. Sam, I mean, I'm kind of surprised about this. I don't know about you.
I mean, to be honest, I think since we first episode of the new season when we were talking about the whole James Harden debacle and the whole trade, and not even just with that, but it was Russell Westbrook being traded. We're the Wizards obviously won this trade, and then we oh shit, no they didn't. They're a terrible team. The Rockets are decent, and the Rockets were horrendous, and we're well, no one won this trade. This is just bad for everybody at this point. But surprisingly, the Wizards they had a 7-game win streak to almost end the season. Then they lost a couple at that point, but they're here. I mean, they're playing Philly now, and I think we kind of misjudged Russell Westbrook. I know he had the whole leg injury situation, but he just averaged another triple-double again this season. So I mean, Jordan shrug at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Bradley Beal, we know this team doesn't play defense, and we know that's the reason why they're an 8th seed. I mean, realistically, they're a 10th seed at this point. But the one thing we know year after year after year is that I think we went from Russell Westbrook supporting Kevin Durant. We then went to Russell Westbrook solo dolo, and we all were calling that out, the whole triple-double thing about how he's stat padding. And I think that's true. I think that was true at that point. And then he goes to Houston, and I think he was actually a very positive asset. I know he wasn't a shooter, but he did bring in the drive game for that team. They had a chance. It's not like they didn't have a chance. They were actually a really solid shot, and they just choked per usual. And I think we actually saw the usefulness of Russell Westbrook with this Wizards team because it reminds us of OKC again, where he's able to facilitate, and he has slightly better shooters now. You know, my boy Bertans with Kevin's boy Rui, and I mean, like, I'm just impressed. I'm just genuinely impressed because we thought Russell Westbrook is done. You know, this is it, his end of his, his time in the NBA basically, and he just proved us wrong. I'm just impressed.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Kevin, speaking of teams that we only want to talk about for a little bit because of how poorly they're doing currently, the Lakers did beat the Warriors. LeBron with a contested three-pointer to win. Very disrespectful for a three-pointer on the Lakers to win the game when it should have been Steph Curry to shoot a three-pointer to win the game. Is this just like the biggest highlight for the Lakers in this playoffs? Because they're not looking too hot right now.
Yeah, so far it definitely is. Their game against the Suns was ugly. Not great. So definitely glad they're in it. I think they're going to come back. They're going to bounce back pretty quick, but that first game was bad. But the Warriors game was really good. I think that's what we wanted to see in that kind of game. Like, it comes down to the last second, like, kind of a shootout between LeBron and Steph a little bit. And LeBron came out on top because playoff LeBron is inhuman. And I think we're going to start to see more and more of that, hopefully.
Yeah. Like I said in our group chat, if the Suns do beat the Lakers, they are my new favorite team. I will be a Suns fan till I die, and I mean, I guess that's just how it is now. I guess it's just like Chris Paul jerseys and Booker jerseys just plastered all over my walls. Well, I'll just move to Arizona. I'm not going to go to Denver. I'll just move to Arizona. Fuck it. I'll just get third-degree burns because of how white I am, and that's fine. It's fine. Sam, the Grizzlies. Boy, oh boy. We were just talking earlier this season about how we weren't really sure about Ja Morant. Ooh, we were wrong.
We
were wrong. Grizzlies beat the Spurs by 4 points. Sorry, apologizing for that. That must have been really rough on you. My heart goes out to Spurs fans everywhere. As Sam walks away. And then they go on to beat the Warriors in overtime, and Ja with 35 points in that game. Dude, the Grizzlies, they're hot.
They're very good. I mean, we're still kind of waiting on the whole Jaren Jackson Jr. situation. To be honest, I think Memphis is really good. They just missed their second star player. And, to be honest, I think Ja Morant held his composure. And I think with the whole Zion hype covering it all up, basically, guess who's in the playoffs? As I gotta say at this point, Look, shout out to a quick Spurs. Shout out to them. They had almost a comeback and then they fell apart. Just biz cash at that point. DeMar DeRozan will not be back next season. That's a guarantee, pretty sure. It's not gonna happen. But the Grizzlies, really interesting lineup. I mean, like Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks. Like, whoever thought this guy would actually be a really significant role in a starter. My boy Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson, Kevin's boy, Valanciunas, Brandon Clark. I'm a big fan of Brandon Clark's game. He just couldn't be healthy for most of the season, but I think with his presence, it fills up some of the void that Jaren Jackson had. And of course, we're waiting for Jaren Jackson. That's the missing piece. And we're not going to talk about Grayson Allen because he's a fuckboy and somehow is playing minutes. But this Grizzly team it's pretty fun. They're like the Hornets of the West, I think, in my opinion.
I like it. I like that. And I've always been very interested in watching these underdog teams play because you just kind of see a very different sense of where they're at. They either get brutally like thrown out of the game essentially, or you see them like putting everything that they can into it. And that's kind of fun to watch, in my opinion. I do like that. Final results of this are the Celtics got the 7th, the Wizards got the 8th, Lakers got the 7th, Grizzlies got the 8th. I always have to laugh when the Lakers are not number 1 seed. Sorry. Why don't we talk about the recap of these games? Sam, the Spurs may have lost and they may be out, but your boy Forbes, oh my God. Raining threes all day long, man. Giannis was scoring high, Forbes shooting threes for days, 22 threes made in total for the Bucks on their last game against the Heat when they just obliterated them. Um, do the Bucks have a chance to go to the finals? Like, is this like kind of like really um hard to, is this something that's like a little bit too hard to see for you? Because obviously they have the Sixers and the Nets to go against, which is very gross. But dude, their shooting is fire. It looks real good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I just gotta say this: Nets are in trouble next round. I tell you that. I tell you that. Okay. I mean, I think we were all questioned about the whole Drew Holiday signing when they couldn't get Bogdanovich as well. Or like, was this worth it? And then they paid him like 160 million as well on top of that. And you're like, was it really worth it? Like, is this gonna really keep Giannis? I think this is the first time we feel like the Bucks have their best shot, and I feel like that's might be an overstatement, but I genuinely think this is their best shot at it. Even though we have two really strong Eastern Conference teams, I think that like it's not even, this is the first time where it's not Giannis dependent. Like, don't get me wrong, like I think we all know Giannis needs to play the game, and play very well, but we're seeing everyone's role evolve and step up, and there's an actual defensive presence, which is what Eric Bledsoe couldn't do. You have a Drew Holiday who's a great on-ball defender. Very few guards can actually play defense, as you can tell. Trae Young. But for me, I think it's even like Chris Middleton. I mean, game one, game winner contested, like two hands in the face, and just Biz Cash killed the Heat there. Remember when Jimmy Butler was like, just getting to the playoffs and we're going to take over? Let me know how it's going. All right, we'll see you in Cancun soon. But like this says right here, Bucks are doing illegal things right now. All right, this is murder at this point, extinguishing the Heat. I guess they're heroes if you're extinguishing the Heat at this point, but when you extinguish the Heat, it just reminds me of 2014, baby. That's all I gotta say.
Ooh, damn, damn. All right, I like it. Kevin, do you have anything to add on to that?
I kind of agree with Sam. I think this is Bucks have a pretty good shot this year. I think Drew Holiday especially is doing awesome at everything he's doing. And I think the Bucks, this is a perfect road for the Bucks because they can face the Heat round one right now, and I think that's a good confidence booster for them. At least it seems like that right now, and I think that's what they need. I think that they've struggled in the past with being that one seed where everyone expects them to be really, really good, and they've had a lot of issues with that. And now coming in as a lower seed, playing the Heat right away, absolutely dominating them, I think that's exactly what they need to get the momentum to keep going.
Absolutely. And I will say one more thing about this game before we move on. Giannis, dude, I love you. You're a fucking Greek god. You named your child a very different name when you could have named him Apollo, but we can go away from that. It's fine. But bro, the chance for you to shoot threes is gone. Stop doing it. They look so bad, man. Just give it to Forbes. Give it to Middleton. I don't give a fuck. Just give it to Lopez. Do not shoot threes, man. It's not your time. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering where our other co-host John is, he's currently in a coma from the amount of partying that he did with this Mavericks victory against the Clippers game one. Luka triple-double and 21 points from Hardaway. My God. Look, I'm not the only one who's going to say it. But a game where Luka is not only doing extremely well, but a game where Paul George is getting shit on. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, boys. Sam, I'll go with you first. What are your biggest takeaways from this?
Oh, ring, ring, ring. Oh, okay. Yeah, triple double. Got it. All right, it's on the way. Don't worry. Tonight he's getting another triple double. I just got told that.
Cool.
I mean, are we surprised though? I mean, Luka Doncic playing phenomenal basketball. Like it's just business casual at this point, and it's crazy that he's younger than us and he's just way better at everything. I don't know what we're doing. Hopefully, we get enough likes to where we get money from this, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, I think the interesting part is Tim Hardaway. Really, this whole team came together. Like Dorian Finney-Smith all came together, and are we really sure Kawhi is that elite of a defender? I'm just saying he's not really guarding that well. I mean, like I just think he's very overhyped now. I don't know. Is this really it, Paul George? I mean, we also the little you saw our little meme with like Paul George like slanted on the floor, like dying. I mean, the team's whack. Okay, when you play Luke Kennard and not play him, I'm a little confused there. And you're like, yo, Rajon Rondo's the greatest point guard of all time, and he doesn't really play point. Well, I'm like, well, I don't know what's happening at this point. Reggie Jackson, is it still a name that exists? Like, the team is just based on two guys. And I actually don't think they're a good duo. I think they're like probably good pals. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they complement each other. I think they're very like the exact same player, and I don't think that's good for this team. Last thing I gotta say is, as Kanye would put it, no more parties in LA. Because Maz, get that broom out.
Oof. In a recent post, they were questioning Kawhi's defense, like you were doing, Sam, and they did say, "Well, I think your questions are going to be answered in tonight's game." Very foreshadowing that they're probably going to keep Kawhi Leonard on Luka, so we'll see how that works. Luka's got some very wizard shit going on, so we'll see what happens. Kevin Paul George, he had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. Do we care?
No, and I'm gonna move on pretty quick. I think Paul George did okay. He did like exactly what is expected of him, no more, no less.
Trash.
Good for you. However, Marcus Morris out here playing 33 minutes to get 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. Man, you're in the playoffs. Like you gotta step up a little bit.
The fuck
Also,
is he doing?
Pat Bev playing point guard and getting 0 assists. That's like a quarterback having 0 passing yards. I feel like that's just you're bad.
I love it. I love all the Pat Beverly hatred. I'm all for it.
You know you're bad when that Rajon Rondo is playing better than you when he's like 38 years old or whatever.
Ah, that's rough, man. That is very, very rough. Let's go on to the next game. The one that you guys were actually just at, Nuggets and the Blazers. You guys had a hell of a time there. Jokic went ham after a very, very bad loss to the Blazers in the first round. It seems like everything just sort of switched. Bad loss to the Blazers, insane win against the Blazers. Not really sure what to make of this. Heads or tails? I feel like both arguments are kind of valid at this point. There are arguments saying that the Nuggets aren't going to be able to keep up with the Blazers' shooting ability with Dame and CJ McCollum killing it. Then on the other side, you have Jokic, who's just a monster passer and just somehow makes almost every basket that he shoots, even though it looks ridiculously lazy. What are we thinking about this? In the last game, where they did win, or actually where they lost, he had 38 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Do the Blazers have a chance, or are we, or is this all about Cannabis City, baby?
So I definitely think the Blazers have a chance. I think this is actually going to be the closest series of all the round ones. Especially now that they're going back to Portland, I think the Nuggets are really going to have to pull it together to stop the Blazers from shooting as well as they have been. At one point, I think at the end of the third quarter, the Blazers were shooting like 75% from three. Dame had like 80% 3-point completion. Like it was ridiculous, and this no Nuggets guard can stop him. Like I don't know if they have that answer yet, and so they just kind of have to outscore them and or get their own momentum before the Blazers get their momentum. I don't know. I think also the game yesterday, it definitely seemed like a lot of the Blazers were rattled a little bit. Like there was a lot of trash talking, a lot of pushing and shoving and things like that. And I think that they were just kind of in their own head. So as long as the Nuggets can kind of stay mellow, not like get on the Blazers level, I think they'll be good. But they really got to figure out a way to stop Dame. Otherwise, the next two games in Portland are going to be tough.
I like how you bring up mellow, Kevin. How they have to stay mellow. I'm feeling like they don't need to stay mellow. I feel like they need to be the complete opposite of mellow. Look, I'm just gonna say this. Very ballsy move for Melo to push Jokic to the ground. That's not on my top five things that I would ever do in my lifetime. That guy is a fucking giant, and Melo is old as shit. Um, Kind of rough. Look, Sam, Kevin brings up a very good point. The shooting is very, very good on Portland's side. Damian Lillard last game, 56% from the three. CJ McCollum, he had 66%, but it was also two for three from the three, so not a lot of shooting there. Very, very low sample size. What do you think the Nuggets need to do to stop this shooting, or to even remotely beat this team out?
I mean, honestly, watching, I was very impressed by the Nuggets on-ball defense for like a team that has very, to be honest, like lackluster point guards compared to the other side. Like Facu Campazzo, you're gonna love this guy. You're gonna hate him because it's gonna remind you of like a Dellavedova, but I think he's like 10 times better. This guy on Damian Lillard contested every time, no fouls. Damian Lillard only got one 3-point attempt foul. That's nuts, right? I mean, Damian Lillard's game is very similar to James Harden, where they're trying to get the foul call and they do these ridiculous shots, and it's like, okay, at some point you have to play the actual game. I was more impressed by Michael Porter Jr.'s defense.
Yeah.
It's shut down. The amount of steals they had on these guards was unreal. And I think they're clicking. I think this Nuggets team is really clicking. They're like, okay, Jamal's out. We know that. So we need to step it up. I think the Austin Rivers, I was telling Kevin, Austin Rivers signing was actually a good steal. I think it was actually like a perfect fit somehow. And realistically, Joker just got to do Joker things at this point, right? It's just you score, you make your bank shots from the free throw line every time. But it really comes down to facilitation and everyone else stepping up. And I think it comes down to like MPJ's role really elevating. And I think this is going to be a very bright future for this Denver Nuggets with how their team is doing. And quick shout out, Marcus Howard, Marquette guy, balling out. Kevin was like, yo, he's going to drain three right now. Drains a three. And I was like, Kevin, you're a god.
Oh,
Kevin and I
were good that Kevin moved to Denver.
Exactly. I mean, like Kevin and I tradition, 3-point goggles. We go like this. We look at them, Wes, and then just go, oh! We just do that. We just do that every time, and it was nonstop this game. So we were hyped, very excited for the future of the Nuggets. And you know what's interesting? That the Nuggets were not favored to win this series. That's what's nuts.
Really?
Portland was favored to win this series. So I'd be curious, but Damian Lillard's scoring ability is something to question moving forward. So I do believe the defense can be there, but guy has limitless range badge right now. It's almost Hall of Fame. I can tell you that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna not really go with the Atlanta with the Hawks and Knicks game. I think we talked about them a decent amount earlier in the show, so I'll let that one be. Really quickly, who do you think's gonna win that series, Sam? Hawks or Knicks?
Don't do this to me, man. Don't do
I'm gonna
this.
do it to you. I'm gonna do it to you.
I think because the Hawks stole in Madison Square Garden, I think it gives them the quick advantage. And I just really do like the way their team is built. I like the Knicks with the Tom Thibodeau working out, and I just think that Randall, like all these guys that weren't supposed to make it are making it. I have genuine respect for this team, and I think it'll attract more people. But it's going to the Hawks. Trae Young, Gallinari, Bogdanovich, John Collins. Like it's a pretty solid, like youngish group with a good mix of vets. So I'm going with Hawks in 6.
Kevin, also you're muted.
I know. I'm. My dog is barking, or not barking, but he's chewing on a bone right behind me, so I have to mute and unmute.
Oh, good boy.
I'm thinking for this, I think Knicks, just because I think they have kind of a deeper roster in the sense of I think over the long term of the whole series, they'll do better. Whereas the Hawks, I think, are going to get this first game. They're looking really good. I think they're going to come out hot next game, but then I think their tank is going to get empty way faster than the Knicks. I think the Knicks have more stamina in this case and more because they're kind of a younger squad. I mean, the Hawks are young too, but I think because they're a younger squad, they can brush off losses really easily and move on. And I think that's what they got to do this time. I think they got to come out for game 2 and come out for blood.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. I will also say the Knicks. Um, I kind of just want to see the Knicks move forward, to be honest. I want to see what that looks like. It would be very good on them. I wouldn't be worried about Atlanta moving forward too much because they actually have a decent future ahead of them with Trae Young. So it's like, I don't see that being the last playoffs that they go into. But like when your best player is old, you probably want to make it a little bit far. Give the city of New York like some like joy in their life when it's not Brooklyn. Grizzlies take the first game from the first seed of the Jazz. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Dylan Brooks leading in scoring with 31. Donovan Mitchell coming back in game 2. Sam, big game changer. How are we feeling about that?
I think Donovan Mitchell obviously has impact on the game. I'm not saying that. I just think in terms of you have to choose Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell, and that's the guy you have to stick with, and who's going to improve your team. I pick Rudy Gobert, right? At the end of the day, it's easy being tall, per James Harden. I just think there is a defensive presence, right? I mean, pretty sure Gobert is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he's just consistently been playing well. I know I tried to buy him a ticket to get back to Paris, but, we'll keep him for a bit. And I think that's going to be the factor at the end of the day is that as much as there's scoring, I mean, you have a Jordan Clarkson. Like, you have the scoring ability. You just need a defensive presence, and I think that's Rudy Gobert. And especially against, like, the Grizzlies, the quote-unquote team that shouldn't be here in a way. This is the Zion spot, right? They didn't make it. It's a real grit and grind. And I love that because it's been Memphis's backbone since, like, Zach Randolph, Marcus Gasol times, even back then. So I think Donovan Mitchell will have an impact on the game, but I think they'll help them win. I don't think by that much, to be honest. I think it'll just take away someone else's scoring and he'll score.
Fair enough. Kevin, are you hyping up the Grizzlies at this moment, or are you thinking that this was just kind of like a fluke game?
I mean, I gotta hype up the Grizzlies. They've been on a tear. I mean, in the play-in games, they were popping off. I think if there's gonna be an 8-1 upset, I think we've always kind of assumed it was gonna be the Jazz, but
yeah,
this Grizzlies team definitely has the chops to do it. I mean, I think the biggest thing is if Donovan Mitchell comes back, can he do anything defensively to stop Dylan Brooks and Ja? If he can't, I don't know if his coming back is going to totally shift the scales at all in their favor. I mean, the Jazz are still a good team, but I think the Grizzlies, we're seeing, Matt, what you were talking about earlier, when those underdog teams are putting everything they have into the game. We're seeing that with the Grizzlies night in and night out, and if they keep that up, they can definitely take this series.
Yeah. Really quickly, who are we thinking is going to win this? I've got the Grizzlies.
I got Grizzlies in 7.
Ooh, I mean, yeah, I would say that's fair. I would say Grizzlies in 7. Sam?
Yeah. Are we doing hot takey here? Are we getting a little hot takey here? Because
we can get hot takey. We can get hot.
Are we getting a little big broom out here? Because I don't think Utah's got a shot in Memphis. I tell you that. All right, I really don't think they have a shot in Memphis. Because playing in Memphis is very dangerous. And if you're the Utah Jazz, good luck. All right. To all the Mormons out there, to Mitt Romney, to other people, Brigham Young. Good luck. But I gotta call the custodian right now because we got a mess in Utah. All right, that's what's happening. We're sweeping 4-0.
Has a first seed ever been swept by an 8th seed in the playoffs before?
It has not happened, so it's going to happen.
Okay.
That would be amazing. I would love to see that. And you know what? Donovan Mitchell would be so pissed off. The fact that he was healthy and could have easily played game 1, my God, I would be furious. We don't really need to talk about the next one, right? We don't need to talk about the Celtics and the Nets. We can just we have to.
I think we got to talk a little bit, and I think good things. I think good things, to be honest.
Yeah, good things like the Nets are going to destroy the Celtics in 4. Look, the one thing I will say, the one thing I will say, no Jaylen Brown sucks. Okay, that's very blatant. No Jaylen Brown very very sucks. They lost 93 or 104 to 93. That could have been much worse. You could have been a Heat against the Bucks, so that's a plus right there. Jason Tatum is incredible. He's fucking awesome. I hope that it would be insane if they could push this a little bit further. I would love to see them win a game at least. That's how pessimistic I am like for this series. I really do. I cannot see the Celtics beating the Nets. I can't. But like they're playing tonight, and my fingers are crossed. I'm gonna watch them with my Jaylen Brown jersey on. Gonna be rooting for them, and then Katie's gonna stomp all over my dreams. Um, mm, Sam, do you think the Nets are gonna sweep them?
I actually don't, to be honest. I really don't think. I think this game one was very close. Okay, like the Celtics had the lead, and there's still some sort of like Celtics had the curse of getting injured all the time, but I think there's still some sense of continuity with this team where it's been really happening. And I actually hate the continuity argument for the most part. With the everyone's like, oh, but are the Nets going to be good? They haven't played that many games. They're fucking all stars. They better be
Yeah.
playing together. At some point, you better be fucking playing together. Like you're grown ass men at this point. You know, when you're a young team, when you're the Memphis Grizzlies, I get it. Okay, that's a different story. But you guys, you have three superstar talent, the superstar talent. And if you can't get it together, why get it together? Like clearly this is not working. And everyone's like, oh, but they've only played like 10 games. They're superstars. They have to work together. Like it's implied they work together. At some point, you can't use that argument. You don't defend a great team. I'm sorry, don't defend a great team like that. Like it's well built in a way. I know it's purely offensive, but I mean it's scary offensive. Like it's teams like I don't want to face them. And I think the Celtics can get this to 6. And I think it's gonna be even more dangerous when they have to play the Bucks the next round because that's when Giannis' defense is gonna go up like crazy. KD's gonna go for a poster. He's gonna get packed and he's gonna be set to the ground. Slim
Yeah.
Reaper.
Slim Reaper. I gotta say, I do fucking love that. I fuck with that nickname so much. Um, my wife had my wife knew who Giannis was. You know, she has the idea of who Giannis is and whatnot. And I was just like, hey, did you ever see Giannis before he got big? And she was just like, oh no. So showed her a picture of Giannis now, bulging biceps, ripped as hell. And I showed her a picture before, and she was like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, Giannis got jacked. Giannis got jacked. But anyway, Kevin, do you see? I guess if the Celtics are going to win a couple of games, get it to game 3. I know Tatum is going to be the number one option. I know he's going to be the one to pull it up, pull it through. Who do you think is going to be the one that really needs to step up, though?
Honestly, I think the bench. I like the entire bench. I've always thought on the Celtics is trash, especially this year. So I really want to see them kind of step up and do a little better. And I don't know if we'll see that. Like, I don't know. I think Brooklyn definitely doesn't have the deepest bench, so I think that's kind of where the Celtics need to step up and need to make that gap smaller whenever Brooklyn comes out in the first quarter and scores 35 points. And then the Celtics need to come out in the second quarter and score 40 with their bench, which isn't going to happen. But I think we know Tatum's good. We know Jaylen Brown's good. We know Kemba Walker's good. Evan Fournier is okay. We know Marcus Smart's good. Like, we know all the starters on that team are good, and we know they're going to be consistent, but the bench is always trash on that team. So if they can step up, then they can bring it to game 6 or game 7, I think.
Yeah, totally. This is me just praying to any god that will listen. Gods of old, gods of new. I am in your debt. if you can get the Celtics out of this, because that would be insane. I would fucking lose my mind. Sixers take game one against the Wizards. Fucking shocker. Tobias Harris leading with 37 points, Embiid with 30, and Bradley Beal with a very honorable 33. Russ got to step up, you know. Do we think that the Sixers defense is just like so fucking good, just too good for the Wizards to be able to keep up? Wizards, as we know, are a very offensive team. They are very much so shoot and score first before defense. Unfortunately, doesn't work out that well as it does for the Nets. I don't know about you guys, but I just really don't see in this series go very far. I can only see the Sixers coming out on top. Sam, I'll go with you first.
Yeah, I mean, Wizards had a fun run. I think, like you mentioned, it just comes down to defense. And I do think 76ers is kind of overblown. It's just because it's purely on Ben Simmons and then Embiid. Like, Matisse Thybulle present, and it's okay there. But I think really Sixers is just like, what is Tobias, Harris's role? Because he can ball out like crazy and becomes the highest scorer. And then he'll be like a little quiet next game, inconsistent. But I guess it comes down to, was he really worth the bag? And it might be. If they get to the finals, it might be worth it. So I think let's not get delusional. I think this is probably going to be a sweep in my opinion. But it's kind of funny. I've been hearing like a lot of Philly fans are like not as confident about this team, which is really weird. I found that very weird. They don't find any sort of confidence that this team will be, championship contenders.
That's very strange. I would have thought that this year of all year would be like the one year to be super confident. That's very interesting that you brought that up, Sam. That's very interesting. I do agree with you that they do sweep. I can't see the Wizards coming out on top at all. Kevin, who do you think? What do you think Russ has to do? Score like multiple triple doubles? Like, is that just like the bottom line?
Yes, but I think the thing is, I think the Wizards could come out with one win or maybe even two wins against this series, but I don't know. I think Russ and Beal both have to be at 100% in these games. And Russ in game one was not looking at 100%. Didn't get a triple-double, only scored 16. I mean, he got 14 assists, which is awesome. That helps your team out a lot. But from Russ, we've come to expect like 20, 25-point triple-doubles this season. And he needs to put that up in order for them to contest. And if he doesn't do that consistently in the playoffs, they're going to be out real fast. And Bradley Beal's got to keep doing what he's doing. And then the other players on that team just got to help out as best they can, which in game one, I think they were doing. We had Bertans with a decent amount of points and not that many minutes. Even Daniel Gafford, 12 points in 20 minutes and 6 rebounds. So that's pretty good for what you want from your bench. I don't know. I think this series will be very telling of the Sixers, of how they do against this pretty above average Wizards team. If the Sixers struggle at all, then I don't see them going far in the playoffs. Yeah, they will take this series full stop, but I think it'll be telling of the next few series for them.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about a game that I'm actually very excited to talk about. The Suns roasted the fuck out of the Lakers. Game one, led by Devin Booker with 34 points. Franchise record for playoff debut, baby. Oh, AD looked like ass. He looked bad. Kevin, do you have any words to say about this?
I thought about just staying on mute and just not talking. It was rough. The one net positive from this, I think that I take at least, is there was 6 people on the Lakers team that had double-digit points, and I think that's what they need to do going forward. They need to spread out that scoring. They can't just rely on AD or just LeBron. They have to spread it out against the Suns team because the Suns team is good right now. I mean, Ayton was looking scary, which I think he needs to. Devin Booker obviously popping offensively. Chris Paul, he did okay. He's fine. But yeah, the Lakers really got to step it up. I am very disappointed.
Yeah, Sam, Kevin did say that Chris Paul did okay. Do you think that the Suns would probably be in a better position if a certain
They would they
Ricky Rubio
I'm sorry. Are you
would
Sam?
be
Are you Sam?
uh,
Are you Sam?
uh, I was saying Ricky Rubio. If Ricky Rubio was on the Suns, do you think we'd be in a different position completely?
Yeah, we'd be a 1 seed. I mean, I don't know what we're talking
Yeah,
about. I mean, we'd be
right,
the. um,
Look, in all seriousness, though, the Suns had a really fucking good first game. If I was a Suns fan, if I was a Suns team, I would be excited to beat the Lakers first game, no matter what. They gotta have a lot of momentum from this. But other thing that I'm very excited for is Chris Paul. Chris Paul, man, very excited to see how he plays. What do you think? Who do you think is going to need to be the one to step it up the most, though, for the Suns to keep this streak going? Because obviously Devin Booker, right? Obviously Chris Paul has to do well, but now we're starting to see DeAndre Ayton do really, really well.
hmm No, I would agree. I was telling Kevin yesterday. I think DeAndre Ayton is actually the missing piece for the Suns. Like, I think that's going to be the key to their success. Um, as much as we like to praise like Anthony Davis and stuff like that, like I think there's some actual concern about guarding DeAndre Ayton. Everyone thought, I've heard every podcast, and it's like, once Anthony Davis gets the rock, it's just eating cookies for him at this point. It's easy. It's too easy for him. But we're seeing it's really not easy. DeAndre Ayton with a Chris Paul could be probably one of the best duos since, which is a real stretch. It's a real stretch. It's probably one of the best duos from a guard to center position since like Amari Stoudemire, Steve Nash. I think it's like the ideal combo. There was like a good, like they're about the same age. Here it's like vet and youth, and I think this is like the perfect person to from. Like DeAndre Ayton is to be like, it's beyond blessed to have a point guard like Chris Paul. And I know it's really high praise, but I think Chris Paul, to be honest, to all of us, he proved us wrong every year. We thought he was really washed with a hamstring injury. He's still getting them, but I mean, he made them the second seed. That's nuts. They were the team that went 5-0 in the bubble and then not make it are now the second seed. And I mean, Monty Williams, that's just props to him at this point. That's coach of the year. All right, that's Quinn Snyder. Like, you were in the playoffs the whole time and you got 1 seed. Props, but this is a big jump. Like, this is like the Suns could make the finals. Like, that's how nuts it could be. Like,
Yeah, no, 100%, man. It's fucking crazy. And the last thing that I'll say about this game, look, I know I love to shit on the Lakers, but I'm in the same spot right now. I'm in the same spot, man. The Celtics are not going to do any better. I can't imagine that they do. So you can shit on me all you want. I don't care. Last thing I'll say about the Suns and Lakers, I do truly believe that Chris Paul is probably like, if not the best, one of the best true point guards to play the game. He is absolutely incredible. Only, like Sam said, we thought he was washed. Clearly, he's not. He's very intelligent, knows exactly what he's doing. Very happy for the guy. And then the other thing on the other side is, I know we were talking about how like Russell Westbrook has to step up and Bradley Beal has to step up for the Wizards in order for them to beat the 76ers. There's only been one guy to carry a team to the finals and win it, and that's pretty much been LeBron. So if anything's gonna happen this series, LeBron just needs to do what he always does, and they'll win. Like that's just kind of how history has shown us. So either way, whatever happens, it's gonna be fucking amazing.
and
Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
second, right before we wrap up, I feel like it'd be nice if you want to do a little revisionist history on who's going to win the title, just based off crazy reactions. So, I mean, I think Matt, start us off. Who's our finals contender now? Does it change for you?
Oh yeah, I said the Jazz was going to be in the finals. That is a fucking mistake on my end. I have absolutely no respect for the Jazz after kidnapping our co-host. Very shitty thing for them to do. Very shitty thing for them to do. Just saying. Look, if I think the East surprisingly is the hardest thing for me to even like consider as far as who can make it, because like the Bucks are doing so well, and if Giannis doesn't choke, like knock on wood, if Giannis doesn't choke, like they could be in the finals. But then you have the Nets, like you have fucking KD, who's incredible, and then you have the Sixers, who have been better than ever. Embiid being better than ever, almost I think if not the MVP this year, like runner up. Like if I had to choose right now, I might actually say the Bucks make it to the finals, and I know I'm gonna eat my words. I know I will, but I'm gonna root for them. God damn it, I will fucking root for them. And then on the West, I'm very, very skeptical of the Clippers. I always have been, ever since they've come crashing back down to earth last year. Very skeptical of them. I'm a little skeptical of the Lakers. I know I already said that LeBron can take any team he wants, but like, it's not prime LeBron. It's LeBron, but it's not prime LeBron, if you guys know what I mean. So it's hard for me to say that. I'm gonna say I will say that the Suns make it to the finals. I think it's gonna be the Suns and the Bucks, which is gonna be the craziest fucking finals because we haven't seen these teams get into the finals in a long time. So that would be awesome to watch. I'd be so pumped. Sam, we'll go with you.
I mean, you kind of took my selection. I was genuinely impressed by the Suns.
Nice.
They're a very good team, very good team. I know I trashed on them very early in the season. I'm just like, you call these guys really good. And then for me, really was DeAndre Ayton was the piece that I was really concerned with. Can he step it up? And I think he can. I think with the true veteran point guard of Chris Paul, I think the Suns team can really do it. I mean, they're doing work on this Lakers. Like, it's a very low scoring game, and that's concerning if you're the Lakers. Like, you should be, when you have superstar talents like that, and I know, like, the rest of the roster is lackluster, but I'm just saying for a team that just ran it back, basically, and picked up some pretty decent pieces, in my opinion, like, finishing with, like, less than 100 points, that's not a good sign. I'm not impressed by Devin Booker. Like, Devin Booker's doing Devin Booker things, but like I said, it's the Chris Paul factor. It has like really blown me away for a guy that, that can't get past the Western Conference Finals now. So I got Suns on this side, and I was gonna pick the Bucks. I'm really impressed. I think they can do some serious damage to the Nets, and if the Bucks get the sweep on the Heat, that's some good rest time because I really do think Boston can do at least delay the Nets, inevitable win. And I think they can really, put that wear and tear. It takes like Kyrie to go Rodman and just disappear. KD, I mean, he had a really scary fall. I'm glad he got back up. That was really gross, face down, but you really can't trust it. I mean, Kevin Durant did not play a lot of the season, and James Harden hamstring, you can't trust a hamstring either. So it's like, at that point, it just comes down to can the Nets stay healthy, and they got to go through at least 3-4 rounds to survive. So I got the Bucks. I don't know. Something about Philly is maybe I'm with the Philly fans. Like I just don't know. There's something that's like I just feel there's no glue with this team. It's just like they're good pieces that all work, but there's no like real tie. Like I don't think they really care for each other, to be honest. Like you don't see them hanging out. You don't see them vibing. No jokes being thrown around. But the Bucks, they're a big fam at this point. So I got Bucks and Suns finals.
I like it. I like it. Kevin?
I actually think this Lakers Sun series is going to be determine who gets into the finals. I think whoever wins the series, whether it be Lakers or Suns, gets into the finals for the West. I agree with you guys. I think the Suns can do it, but I think the Lakers are the biggest barrier for them to overcome. I think, again, I keep saying it, and I will forever say it. Playoff LeBron is inhuman. Mm-hmm. He is a cheat code. So I think the Suns really got to play at 100% that whole time and not take it easy in a game. And if they misstep at all, well, the Lakers are going to jump on that and they could take that series. And I think, again, the Lakers won't have trouble with a lot of these Western Conference teams, I don't think. For the East, it's tough, like you guys are saying. But I got to be a little different. I got to go with the Nets still. Like, I think, yes, if the Bucks sweep the Heat, they're going to have a lot of rest time. That's a big plus. But I think the Nets are still just a better overall team right now. I think they're scary with the three superstars they have. Sixers are good, are really good, but they're kind of like the Jazz, where they're a good regular season team, I feel like, and I don't know if how well they'll mesh in the playoffs. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, especially with the Sixers, but yeah, I'm saying Nets, and then I'll say Lakers just to be different, but and for my hype.
Yeah,
But Nets,
you
and
got
then
it.
winner of Lakers Suns.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so much for watching the show. This is the Deep Three Podcast. You guys can find us on Instagram and on Twitter at the Deep Three Pod. We're going to be throwing a lot of playoff content at you left and right, so please keep your eyes on us. Kevin, meme master over here, going to be posting some fire memes on Instagram as always, and I will be taking those memes and putting them on Twitter because I steal things apparently. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the show. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then just give us a review on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.
You know what? With my return, 1,000 likes and we'll give away this. We'll give away a pair of shoes. All right.
Ooh.